After a brief hiatus, Worth the Watch is back in business, ready to present a new review for you today. We will be discussing the new movie, Anchorman 2.
That's right. It's the sequel to Anchorman, if you couldn't tell. Uh, that was one of Will Ferrell's best roles, I think, as Ron
Mm-hmm.
Burgundy. Uh, and I think that role really propelled his career, um, where most of his successful stuff up to that point was kind of in groups and on Saturday Night Live, but
Right,
I think that really showed that he could carry a movie by himself.
right,
And since then, he's had a
yeah.
very, very great career acting.
I would kind of call it the movie that made him com- the the comic actor of the last decade.
I'd agree with that.
So,
Uh, so this movie had some big shoes to fill.
right,
And the gang is back. Not just Will Ferrell, but Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, and David Koechner, I think is how you pronounce it.
Kochner,
Oh, my bad.
and Christina Applegate, who I don't think is in any other movies besides this movie and Anchorman 1.
Yeah, I don't remember her being in really anything else. Um, there's also some newcomers this time around. You've got James Marsden as Jack Lyme, and Kristen Wiig as Steve Carell's love interest.
Right.
And let's get down to
The
the
plot.
plot.
We we are so good at reviewing. We just like know how to progress the review.
The chemistry is off the
It's just off the
charts.
charts. Okay, so the plot basically is uh, Ron got fired, and now he is offered a job with a totally new radical idea of
24-hour news.
24
Oh
hour
my
news.
gosh, can you imagine?
That's crazy. So he tries to gather the gang up, and so he finds them in odd, typical places. For example, Steve Carell's character thinks he's dead, and he has to go to his funeral only to find Steve Carell alive.
Yeah, Steve Carell really went all out in the role, and
He did. In
well,
fact, I would call him one of the good parts of this movie.
there were some missed moments with him, but you have to admire his dedication to the joke.
Right, right,
But
right.
back to the story. They get to New York, I think is where the studio
Mm-hmm.
is, and they quickly become the most popular news team there. And Ron Burgundy's back on top of the world, only the entire United States instead of just San Diego.
Right, but things don't all go smooth for him from this point. I think we should just about leave it at that, though, and not divulge any more of the plot, though,
Right.
for your own viewing enjoyment. I thought the acting was pretty good for a comedy, I'd
Yeah,
say.
there's no complaints there. I don't think that Paul Rudd or David Koechner uh, were as funny in this one as they were in the last one.
Right,
They didn't seem to have as much to do, but when when they had screen time, they were fine. Uh,
right. Lots of cameos. I think anyone likes cameos. Everyone should like cameos, even though they're kind of a cheap way of uh,
getting a laugh.
getting
Or,
a laugh or getting attention. Uh, well, I don't think we'll spoil any of them. Maybe like, well, no, we won't.
no.
We won't. We'll let you guys see them. Uh, yeah, you get a good laugh out of cameos, although there's really no point to them, and there were a lot in here, and some of them just kind of seem forced and thrown in.
Yeah, it seemed just like any actor that they could get who was available, they did get.
Right. Anyways,
um, yeah, the first, I'd say 2/3 of the movie were really funny. Not, I don't think on the same level as the first one, but for a sequel is very respectable, I would say. Uh, there was a lot of quick setups to jokes. A lot of scenes were just one or two jokes and
right.
kind of fast paced, but uh, then the last third of the movie kicks in, and it's not very good in my
Mm,
opinion.
I don't think so
It
either.
really fell off.
I think this movie does what any comedy should not do, and that's overstay its welcome. I think it starts to drag a lot at the end of the movie, and I got bored in theaters.
Yeah, the tone completely changes for a solid 15-minute period in the movie, and it's not funny. It's just not funny at all for a long stretch of time,
No.
and
Yeah.
it left kind of a rotten taste in my mouth when the movie was over, honestly.
Yes, that. You gotta be consistent the whole movie, and I don't think they achieved this. I thought some of the jokes and like what was up with like the shark? You know, that was kind of
It wasn't they
I don't like they were trying to be funny. I guess I don't know. I really don't know about the third part of this movie, and of course they have an elaborate fight scene at the end, just like the last one, which is a classic, and it was pretty funny. But
it wasn't on the same level as the
right,
first movie, and I don't like it when comedies uh, sequels specifically try to remake a famous scene from the first one
right.
and come up short like they did in this. And I don't know, that's just a pet peeve I
Hmm.
have. But uh, I don't know. I don't think I have much more to say about the movie.
I don't think I do either. We sound pretty negative, but is it worth the watch?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll I'll give this movie a 6.6 out of 10. It's a for a comedy sequel. It's pretty good for a comedy sequel, but I would probably wait for the DVD.
Right. Now, this movie's just more of the same as Anchorman 1, except less funny. So, I'm going to give it a 7.0 out of 10. I was definitely enjoyable. If you really like the first one, go see it in theaters. If you really like Will Ferrell or Judd, whatever his last name is,
Apatow.
Apatow, I'm not sure if it's like a pronounce. I wasn't sure if it's pronounced like a V, the W was, or
Oh,
whatever. So if you really like that kind of comedy and you want more of the same, see it. But otherwise, it's forgettable. Unlike its predecessor, which is already considered a comedic classic. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.